Okay, in this tutorial, let's go through the process of creating a SoloForest project and adding some base maps. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to launch SoloForest. If you have the hotkeys for Solo down at the bottom, you can click there, or you can click your Start menu and launch the program that way. So we'll do that, and we'll give it just a minute for the program to open. Okay, now that SoloForest is opened up, we're going to create a new project. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stylus pen and I'm going to double tap in the field under name, and I'm going to give the project a meaningful name. So I'm going to just call this one Smith Track, and I'm going to hit OK. Okay, from here, Solo is going to kick us into the project settings, and I'm just going to double check a couple things, mainly the zone. I'm going to go to the zone tab, and I'm going to make sure that the coordinate system that I have set here matches the coordinate system of my base map layers. Okay, once I've double checked that, I'm going to hit OK, and then this is going to kick me into the main map screen. Okay, once this comes up, I'm going to just make sure that my toolbars are turned on. So if yours, and right now I don't have a signal, so I'm just going to choose one of these buttons right here and hit OK. All right, I'm going to make sure that I've got the both of my toolbars turned on, and you can toggle those on and off using the buttons just to the right of the tool menu. Okay. All right. From here, I'm gonna add a base map. So I'm gonna go to the View menu, and I'm gonna go to Map Layers. Okay. This is gonna bring up the Map Layers window. All right. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the Add Layer button. Okay. So I'm gonna hit the plus button. It looks a lot like the Add Layer button in ArcMap as well. So I'm gonna click right there. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm looking in the correct folder where I have stored my base maps. So, you can hit the up arrow right here if you need to go up, but I know that mine are stored in the base maps folder. So I'm going to make sure I'm looking in the base maps folder. Double click right there. Okay, and then down here at the bottom you see type. This is a way to sort your layer types in here by the file type. So I'm going to start with my ArcView shapefile, which is at the very top of the list right here in the pick list. So I'm going to have to slide to the top right there. I'm going to choose ArcView shapefile, and I'm going to choose the Smith Track. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and hit OK, and you'll see that it gets added to the list of map layers. Okay, it's the fourth layer in the list. Okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to add that aerial image and that topo layer. So I'm going to click the Add Layer button, and this time I make sure that I'm in the My Documents Base Maps folder, but this time I'm going to choose a TIFF image because both my topo and my aerial image are both TIFF format. So I'm going to choose TIFF image, and you'll see that both of them are showing up here. So I'm going to grab the Smith topo, highlight it, and hit OK. And then I'm going to go back one more time, and I'm going to grab the Smith Track image. Okay. Now, because I got two raster file types, picture type files, obviously I won't be able to see it but one of those at a time. Now Solo will automatically put the aerial photos and topo type files on the bottom so that your shape file will show up on top. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hit OK. And when you see this window about displaying a legend, I'm just going to hit skip, and I usually do that always on this screen. Okay, and then it's going to ask, do you want to save the base map configuration in a configuration file? I'm going to say yes, because the next time I open up the Smith Track project, I want the Smith Track base map set to automatically open for me as well. So I'm going to hit yes right here, and then the default name for the base map configuration file is going to be Smith Track, just like my project, but it's going to add a .bmc extension on the end. So I'm going to hit OK right here, and I'm going to give it a second for the layers to load. And if you don't see it on your map at the beginning, you can come down here and click on the zoom to everything. Okay, and that will zoom out so that we can see our entire project. Okay, so Solo put the topo layer on top, and you can see that my shapefile is there, and I can kind of vaguely see it, but it's not quite bright enough for me. So I'm going to go adjust the color outline of my shapefile. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to the View menu. I'm going to go back to Map Layers, and I'm going to double tap on my shapefile layer, okay, which is this one right here, okay, and you can slide this over a little bit so you can see the whole name. Okay, so now I can tell that it is definitely a shapefile. So I'm going to double click it, and this is going to bring up the layer properties for me. So I'm going to go to the display tab, and I'm going to change the color right here. I'm going to change it to red. I'm going to choose red, and then I'm going to bump the line width up to about, I don't know, about 3. Okay, that should make it plenty wide. Okay. I'm going to hit skip right here again, and now we should be seeing, yeah, that's a much thicker line. That works a lot better. Now, what if you want to see the aerial image? Say if we want to turn the topo off so that we can see the aerial. Well, that's simple. We'll just go back to the view menu, go to map layers, and I'm going to uncheck the topo. Okay, so what that does is it doesn't unload it from the project, it just makes it not visible. You can see that by the eye right there. Just lets you know what's visible. So now I've got the aerial image right there, and if I want to, I can grab the magnifying glass and zoom in a little tighter if I want. Okay, or I can zoom back out. Okay, now what if we want to unload the aerial image as well? We can go to the view menu, we can go to map layers, and I'll just uncheck the Smith Track TIFF image. Okay, so if you wanted to unload a layer completely from the project so it wouldn't be loaded and wouldn't be using any memory, what you could do is just highlight that layer. You could come down here on the toolbar with this and choose the single X, and that will ask you, are you sure you want to remove this layer? Yes. Okay, so I just removed the topo layer from the project. Okay, so now I'm going to hit OK back out, and you'll see that the Smith Track shapefile is the only one that I've got, only base map layer that I have turned on. Okay, I'll hit skip one more time, and now you'll see that I just have the shapefile showing up. Now it's a good idea before you go to the field to always double check the spatial integrity of your base maps, and an easy way to do that is to once you've zoomed into your base map layer, take your stylus use and change it to manual XY. Okay, if you can't find this tool on your toolbar, you can also go to edit and go to stylus use. But we want to choose stylus selects manual XY, and all you want to do is just take your cursor and just touch in the middle of your base map, and then look at the lat long coordinates that are displayed in the upper left hand corner of your screen. Now if you're not seeing lat long coordinates there, you can go to your file menu, go to settings, and go to your general tab, and make sure that your position display is set for latitude, longitude, WGS 84, and then OK back out, and then you should see lat long. Now this is critical because there's nothing worse than going to the field and your base maps don't line up with your project. Okay, so in the next step we'll go through the process of generating a cruise grid and then starting an RTI project.